So now let's build the automation that will make sure that whenever we receive a new demo request through our form here, we're able to check in our CRM to see if this contact or company already exists. And if so, it will then do a proper matching with that new demo request. But if this contact is a new contact, it will be adding it to our database, our CRM of contacts, but also creating the new company record for that new deal that we have in our CRM. So what we will do is go in here again in our automations and start a new automation here again based on records that will meet conditions, and selecting our deals table this time because whenever the form here is being filled, it is directly feeding the deals table and it is mapped to fields that are specific to demo requests. So here our trigger will be, I think, when a deal has, I think, a demo request email, when this is not empty, which means that this was a deal that was created through the demo request form. Then, and I will just hit here to get the test data. So when we have a new demo request, then what we want to do is to actually, in Softr databases, we'll try to here find multiple records in the contacts table. And here we will try to find records that match the condition the email is. And in here, I will get the email of the demo request that we got. So now, if we check that, it seems like we already had a record here. So I'll be adding branches so that we are able to handle that in the best way possible. So two conditions, either here, we found records. So for example, there is a record ID, which means that we found one. So if this is not empty, it means that we already have that contact in our CRM and we already have the company being created. So here we don't have to do anything else because we already know that contact. But in case we didn't find any ID, so in case this is empty, then what we want to do is actually to be in Softr databases, adding a new record because this is a new contact. So I'll go in here in contacts and I will be creating that new contact. So we'll be able to get the email, first name, last name at least, because we got that from the demo request form here. So I'll be able again, so using the @ symbol for the record that triggered our workflow, I'll just get here the email, same for the first name and the last name. Perfect. So doing that, whenever a new demo request comes in and it's a new contact, then we will automatically be creating it. So I'll just rename that create. Now, what we also need to do is to actually create the related company, because if we didn't have that contact, we also didn't have that company. Because in our form, we didn't ask for their company name, because in 2026, this is something that we can actually find ourselves with Enrichment, and we definitely want to make sure this form is the easiest possible to fill in. What I will be adding here is actually an AI step that will here, with a custom prompt, it will, and I will, for example, use, I think this one will require quite a small model, but I will definitely allow web search. And what I will ask is, based on the domain of the following email, and here I will be mapping the email here. Perfect. Strictly return the exact company name it is related to. Perfect. So if I test that, we will see that the AI is capable to go from a domain name to a company name. And that's the way, we'll just call that find a name. That is the way we are able here, right after that, to create in Softr database a new record that will be here creating that new company. Perfect. The fields that we are able to fill up now are company name and domain. And for the industry, if you remember, we had created some AI workflows. I also enabled this one that will, based on the company name and domain, find the industry, the description, the number of employees. So we don't have to generate those. So we'll just be sending these two, but we will also here already map the contact that we have just created because we want to connect them. So for the company name, I'll just reuse here the outputs of our AI step here. For the domain, we would like to return the domain that we had here from the email. So what I could do here is actually, because we got the email of the contact, we can find the domain name of that company by taking everything that's after the @ symbol in their email. So for that, I can right now use a custom code here node. And because I'm not familiar with code, I'll simply be here asking Softr's co-builder, and I will say, my first node was able to return the email of the demo requester, and now I need you to help me with the custom code module that I've added. Write the code that will extract the domain name from that email. Perfect. So the AI has here written the code, and I will just simply here have to define this variable email. And if I remember, we have it here. So this is supposed to now, perfect, extract the domain that we had. Thanks to AI, we could get some help to extract the domain and use it here. Perfect. For the contacts, we will be, and I'll just have to run it once to test. Here, I can simply be mapping the contact that we have created a bit earlier here. I will just map it thanks to the ID, and this will then automatically create that company, that new company, and map it to and connect it to the existing contact that we had. So to summarize what we have for our AI CRM, it is demo request handling. Now, what we could add as a last step would be eventually here to add a Slack message, post that in a channel. Perfect. So in the sales channel, I can now say new demo requests, email, their message. Perfect. And let's call that both. And perfect. This workflow is now able to notify my team whenever I get a new demo request, but also is able to match and avoid having these manual manipulations in my CRM to actually see if we already know this company, this contact, etc., and make sure that my data stays clean.